Hi, my name is Jenny and I'm a registered dietitian. Today I'm here with my friend Bill and we're going to be talking a little bit about calcium, vitamin D, and the supplemental forms of these nutrients. So I just want to begin by saying that it is actually possible to meet our calcium and vitamin D requirements through diet alone, as showed by Canada's Food Guide. Calcium, we know, is important for maintaining healthy bones and teeth, and it also does play a pretty big role in osteoporosis prevention.
How much calcium should we be getting?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for the average adult in Alberta, we should be aiming for about 1,000 milligrams a day. And for anybody over the age of 50, we want to aim for about 1,200 milligrams a day.
What would that look like in terms of food?
So food sources, we can meet our requirements just through 2 to 3 servings of the Milk and Alternatives group from Canada's Food Guide. For example, we can meet our full requirements just through 2 glasses of milk a day. And for anyone who doesn't drink cow's milk, there are other options available, such as a fortified soy beverage or an almond beverage. One thing to look for though, a regular cow's milk is going to contain about 30% daily value of calcium. What you want to look for is similar or a bit more when it comes to the fortified milk beverages also.
How big is a serving?
Yeah, so a serving would be 1 cup of milk, which is about 250 mils. Other sources of calcium would include yogurt, cottage cheese, and cheese. So a serving of yogurt and cottage cheese is roughly about 3/4 of a cup. A serving of cheese is 1.5 ounces. So 1 little Baby Bell or 1 cheese string is roughly 1 ounce. So 1.5 of each of those would be 1 serving. I always recommend trying to choose a low-fat source when it comes to dairy. So you're still going to get the same amount of calcium and vitamin D, but it is just a really good heart health option. So for example, when it comes to our milk, trying to choose a skim or a 1% is always a good idea. When it comes to yogurt and cottage cheese, I always recommend a 0 to 2% milk fat. And that's always going to be shown with an MF on the label. So there are also other sources of calcium. So for example, nuts, fish, and green vegetables do give us a little bit of calcium, but not as much. So for example, I would have to eat over 7 cups of broccoli just to get the same amount of calcium we would find in 1 cup of milk. All right, so today me and Bill are here in the pharmacy and we're going to talk a little bit more about supplemental forms of calcium. So I just want to begin by saying that it actually is possible to meet your calcium intake through a healthy, balanced diet. Supplements aren't meant to replace a diet, but they can definitely help bridge any of those nutritional gaps.
I've noticed there's different types, different forms of supplements. What is right for me?
Yeah, so as we can see, I just have a few examples. So we have the capsulated forms of supplements. They also come in chewable gummy forms and most often come in a liquid form also. So basically they're all going to provide you with similar amounts of calcium. It's just about finding which one is right for you and which works well. And one thing I often tell people to look for is we have NPN numbers, which means a natural product number. This means that it's been approved by Health Canada's safety regulations and that it's safe for consumption. And sometimes supplements, you might notice, if it's prescribed, it may have a DIN, which is a drug identification number. So both essentially mean the same thing, but we always want to look for that on the label. When it comes to calcium, a lot of people are confused when they go to a pharmacy because there are, again, different types of calcium supplement. We have a citrate form and we have a carbonate form of calcium. So citrate tends to be a little bit more expensive, but the point of that is we can take it with or without food. The absorption is pretty well the same. Whereas a carbonate form tends to be a little bit cheaper, and to get the best absorption from the supplement, we want to take it with food. One thing, however, we do want to look for is the amount of elemental calcium. So this is the amount that's going to provide you or contribute to our daily intake of calcium. So calcium is actually best absorbed